All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? This is BoxingWave. Welcome to my channel. I'm your host. I'm just playing around. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. You know, I made a video late last night. Told you guys I wasn't gonna do another video, and I had some downtime before I was gonna link up with the family. So I figured let me try to do one quick video. Hopefully, I can do it in enough time and put it out there on YouTube today. All right. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. You know, just be safe out there tonight. Have some fun with your families, and let's get right into it. All right. So I had some. I got up, made some breakfast, and I took the time to watch a little bit of Mikey and Errol. What I'm trying to find is, I know Errol has some obvious flaws, just like Mikey Garcia does. I mean, every fighter has some flaws. They got strengths, they have advantages, they have disadvantages, stuff like that. What I'm looking for is, what is Mikey Garcia looking at to that he can take advantage of Errol Spence, all right? I'm not just looking at Errol Spence's flaws. What can Mikey do based on the way that he fights? What can he do to possibly outbox Errol Spence, all right? Now, overall, I think Mikey might be slightly the better talent. If we're not talking about size and weight and everything like that, I believe if Mikey was a full-fledged 147-pounder, if Mikey was Kell Brook and you gave Mikey's skills to Kell Brook, I think Mikey probably would have edged that fight. I think Mikey's a little bit more talented than Kell Brook was. I think he's a little bit more talented than Errol Spence is. It's just that there's a huge size advantage for Errol Spence there. And even though I think Mikey is better, I don't think he's that much better, okay? So I'm trying to figure out, what does Mikey see here? What does Tim Bradley see? Tim Bradley says whatever it is that Mikey sees, he sees it too, okay? He's a believer that Mikey has a good chance. And there's a lot of people that believe Mikey has a good chance, and I really don't blame them, I just think the size comes heavy into play, especially later in this fight, and I'll explain later. But off top, I was watching the Lamar Peterson and Kell Brook fight with Errol Spence. Two totally different fights, okay? Lamar Peterson fights a different way, and the way that he fought Errol was different. Lamar Peterson had to adjust very quickly in that fight. Because Errol's jab was getting the best of him. Errol has a very strong, stiff jab. He's constantly changing levels. He's going to the body. He's going up top with his jab. All right, and he's constantly shooting that left hand too. So he has a great left. He has a great 1-2. Lamont has never been the type to throw that many jabs. He's never really been that type. Lamar's more like a dog. He likes to walk you down, get up close, go to his body. That's what he's known for. And even though Errol is good at that, Errol was the boxer in that fight. Errol was fighting on his back foot most of the time and just setting up traps, throwing the jab, pumping that out, landing the left hand, and then at times he would get in and throw those combinations at times, because Lamont was forcing himself on Errol Spence, and it was a very easy fight for Errol Spence in that fight, as opposed to Kell Brook. Now, what I thought Kell Brook was going to do was fight more of on his back foot, moving sideways, throwing more jabs. I thought Kell Brook was going to fight that way. Kell Brook, as far as what I've seen in some of the clips I was watching today, he was more trying to force Errol to fight on his back foot while countering Errol with his own jab. All right, so he kind of took Errol's jab away, not completely, but to a point where he wasn't using it as much as he was using it against Lamar Peterson. So he's coming in, countering with his jab, punching over Errol's jab, okay, countering with that, and countering with straight right hands, which he was landing. I mean, he was getting hit too, but he kept Errol off balance. Errol wasn't really able to throw those big power shots because a lot of times he was being forced back which is something we don't normally see. You know, he's a come forward, flat-footed fighter. That's when he's at his best. All right, when he's trying to break you down, and he's the dog, and he's just trying to wear you down, beat you up, which actually happened in that fight. Problem is, Kell Brook couldn't maintain it. You want to go to war, you want to pressure Errol Spence. You were doing well, but he couldn't maintain it, and that's exactly why he lost that fight the way that he did late. Because Kell Brook, even if you look at the old Carson Jones fight, Kell Brook can't maintain. He don't have the greatest stamina, and this is why Errol beat him. So with Mikey, I was watching a fight with Juan Ma and Dae Han, all right? Those two fighters. Juan Ma fight is really, really old. This is way before he took his break from boxing. Really, really old fight. The only reason why I watched these two fights only is because they're both southpaws. Both of those opponents southpaws. Most of the fighters that Mikey has fought, they're not southpaws. He doesn't really have a lot of southpaws in there, so it was really hard to try to find someone that I can compare to Errol. There's really no one there that I can compare to Errol. But Errol has a good jab, like I said. He has a great jab, very strong jab, powerful jab, and he has a good one too. The thing is with Mikey, though, the way that I've seen him fighting these southpaws, which are not on Errol's level, but the way that I see him, Mikey has a great jab as well. And he's a volume puncher. He's throwing a lot of jabs. He can easily throw like 40, 45 jabs per round. Easily, okay? A lot of them are probing jabs, all right? There's a lot of feints that come with that, and there's a lot of movement. He can move backwards while still throwing a jab. He can move sideways. He's stepping around on opponents and constantly throwing jabs. A lot of them are probing jabs. Errol's a guy that at least likes to keep a high guard. So I expect Mikey to constantly touch Errol's jab, constantly probing, distracting him. I expect Mikey to win the jab war. That's what I'm really mainly interested in seeing. Who's going to win the war of jabs? I know Errol's taller. He has a longer reach, but he doesn't really fight a rangy fight. Like, he's not used to doing that. That's just not the way. That's just not really his style. Okay, he might throw a lot of jabs out there, and he might, control the distance like he did with Lamont Peterson. But the thing with Lamont, Kell Brook, and every single fight, even guys like Chris Algieri that are really got really good quick legs, guys like these guys, they always stood right in front of Errol, and Errol kind of made his way with them, Mikey's not going to fight. Mikey's going to be the first fighter that's going to be constantly moving counterclockwise. All right, he's going to stay out of the range of that straight left hand. He's going to constantly be throwing jabs. And I think Mikey might be a little bit better. I think Errol's very good, but I think Mikey, if you mix his the probing, the feints, him as well going changing levels on Errol Spence, I think it can cause Errol some problems because Errol is going to have to constantly think and keep his guard up, all right? Which is going to make Errol go into his dog mode, all right? Where now he's coming forward, he's keeping a high guard, he's trying to get closer to Mikey, and now he's going to start going to Mikey's body, which Mikey's always been kind of soft down there, all right? I believe that he's going to be trying to, I'm hoping in this training camp that he works on his body, because most of these fighters here, he hasn't fought a real dog since he fought Orlando Salido back in the day. And, when he broke his nose and he started coming forward. And even then, Mikey still continued to maintain the distance between them, kept pumping that jab out. It was just a really close fight. Ended up turning into a really close fight. But, Mikey's nose was broken and everything like that. He was up on points, clearly, all the knockdowns, whatever. Old fight, but, that was the only fight. Errol is going to go into his dog mode, and he's going to go to his body. He's going to make the fight really physical and uncomfortable for Mikey. The reason why I think Errol is going to win this fight is because I don't believe that Mikey can maintain that for a whole 12 rounds. I don't know if Errol is going this is Errol's second option. The second option is go into dog mode and just try to break him down, wear the smaller guy down. You got to remember, Errol has never really looked tired in the ring. You know, he fights at the same pace throughout the whole fight. So with Mikey, I don't know if this is when I think the size and the mismatch comes into play. Because even if you're beating the guy can turn on a different mode and go in on you, like completely shut you down. You know, you're going to be moving, you know, where Errol, he wants you on the ropes and stuff. You're going to be moving and pivoting and stepping around him, and that's going to be good. That's going to be good. But how long can you maintain it when a guy is used to getting punched by real welterweights for a long period of time and keeps coming? You know, I don't think Mikey is not big like a Kell Brook. Mikey don't have the punch like a Kell Brook does at welterweight. He could surprisingly have it, but I'm assuming he doesn't. You know, I know that he sparred with Maidana back in the day. God's going to bring this point up. I know I've seen all of those videos back in the day, and those are good. Those are good, you know, videos. But sparring Maidana is not exactly the same thing coming to Errol Spence. Errol Spence coming in, he's going to pressure you. You're going to be trying to move. He's going to put his arm for you don't go. You can stay in front of him, dig to your body, go up top, make it uncomfortable round after round after round. You best believe Errol and his team, you know, whether it's him or his team, they're going to be looking at that Orlando Salido fight, okay? They're going to be looking at these fights that where Mikey had somewhat struggled, you know, not just those knockdowns. Yeah, I know Mikey has been down, but they were more flash knockdowns. Mikey's never really been hurt outside of Orlando Salido. I think those knockdowns that he had back then, like I remember watching those fights, they weren't really big against Roman Martinez, and I think Burgos might have dropped them too. They were flash knockdowns. You know, he ended up getting up and finishing a fight and easily winning these fights, all right? So that's my thing with the way I think this fight is going to go. I think Mikey is going to come out doing well boxing with Errol Spence, all right? He could be up a few rounds, if anything. But when Errol goes into that other mode and he starts using his size and his strength and his punching power, and that's another thing. We can't forget Errol Spence's punching power here. When someone hits you as hard or harder than you ever got hit before, it changes the way you're thinking. You don't want to continue to get hit. It's going to throw you off. It may throw you off the way that you're fighting. Mikey might be in a place that he's never been before. And I understand that he's challenging himself. He wants to show the best that, you know, he wants to show people that we haven't seen the best of him. And we may see that in this fight. But you're also fighting a guy that's way better than the people that you've been facing. Way better than Olympian Yates and Adrian Broner. You're fighting a guy that's better than them, stronger than them, all right? Has a lot more volume, bigger. How long can you maintain it? Can you maintain it for a full 12 rounds? I personally don't think so. I think Errol is going to win this fight with maybe a 9th, 10th round stoppage, in my opinion. I think he's just going to be too big, too much for Mikey. I just don't think, and I see at least those are the flaws that I see that I think Mikey is going to take advantage of. But I just don't believe that he can maintain it for a full 12 rounds. And I got Errol winning by stoppage, all right? So that's my breakdown of the fight. Let me know what you think. But you know, I think even if it goes to 12 and Mikey happens to survive, I think Errol still will win the fight based on his aggressiveness, his aggression towards the second half of the fight, all the way to the end of the fight. He's going to be looking to knock them, and I think that's going to impress the judges more. And I think he still is going to win, even by points. All right. If Mikey does win, it's definitely going to be by points, by him outboxing him in his superior jab. But I think Errol's going to win this fight. All right. So listen, everybody have a good holiday, and I'm out of here. Peace.